Hola clase, esta es la segunda parte del capítulo 15. Alright, so second part of chapter 15, and we had left off with the past subjunctive, also called the imperfect subjunctive, and we learned how to form those, which is explained here and on the next page. And we went over the uses as well of the past subjunctive, which are the same as the uses of the present subjunctive, which we've been using up until now, mostly this semester. So the uses are all the same, it's just that you're describing something in the past versus something in the present. So there's no new concept with the imperfect subjunctive. The only thing new is the forms. Okay? So that was past subjunctive. And again, I will remind you with subjunctive in general, whether it's present subjunctive, which we saw for the first few chapters this semester, or past subjunctive, which we just saw this chapter, you need to see a lot of examples to really understand it. It's not something you can just get overnight. For English speakers, it's a very challenging topic, so don't expect to understand it completely right away. You need a lot more practice. The next class in the sequence 2040 is a review course, and you go over the subjunctive more, you see more examples. The more examples of subjunctive you see, the more it makes sense. So if you are still confused about it, that's normal. If you're still getting some things wrong with subjunctive, that's also normal. Just try to understand as much of the examples as you can. That would be my recommendation. Okay, so now we're going on to the next section, which is hypothesizing about the present and the future, which is si clauses or if clauses. And so as you know, si in Spanish without an accent mark means if, and si with an accent mark means yes. So these are si clauses, or we would say if clauses. And again, that's to hypothesize about the present and the future. And there are certain patterns that you will see with these si clauses. So for example, it's in bold here for you. You have si plus the present tense, and then in the second clause, the future, right? Or down here, number 3, you have si plus the present tense plus the present tense. So number 1 and number 3 are to hypothesize about the present and the future. I'm sorry, about the future. All right, and then also another pattern is you have si plus past subjunctive plus conditional. That's another pattern with the si clauses. All right, so, and this means, so, well, we'll start with number 1. So if the technology continues advancing, soon they will produce mini cameras that can control all of the population, including in their houses. All right, so that's hypothesizing, saying if something happens, then this will happen. Hypothesizing about the future. Right? This one, si plus imperfect subjunctive plus conditional, is hypothesizing about present. Right? Now, it's a little confusing because you're using past subjunctive and conditional, but you're still talking about the present. Okay. So if they were to do it, referring to this, they would put in jeopardy individual freedoms, right? So that's hypothesizing about the present. This one is hypothesizing about the future, and you can see a future form here. And this one is hypothesizing about the present. If they were to do that now, it would put in jeopardy, in danger, our individual freedoms. Okay. But if science advances so fastly, so quickly, why can't we work for peace? If young people don't do anything to give good use, to put technology to good use, we will have problems in the future. So we're hypothesizing about the future here, and here, and here, that is 1, 3, and 4. And hypothesizing about the present here in number 2. But really, you just have 2 patterns. Si plus the present tense plus future in the second clause, or si plus imperfect subjunctive plus conditional in the second clause. Those are the 2 patterns. And down here they're explained for you. And you can read that. I won't read that to you, but yeah, I highly suggest you read through that, the explanations and the examples. Okay. And then you will have some practice. Now, these C clauses are similar to English, I think. Once you start reading through them, working through them, you'll see that they are similar to English. It's not too difficult of a concept. The difficult part with the C clauses is managing all the tenses, because you have to know your present tense, your future tense, the imperfect subjunctive, and the conditional. You have to know all of those. That is the most challenging thing. So as you work through the C clauses, you have to go back and look at the verb forms, those 4 different verb forms, and work through them. Okay. And there will be a video as well about C clauses in the folder that will help you. Okay, and then the next piece of grammar, and the final piece of grammar, is they're calling it here expressing the unexpected. And it's using these say constructions to talk about accidents, essentially. All right. So there's a pattern here as well, which is the say, and then the past tense verb form. Well, it could be present tense if something that happens regularly, but the third person. And then whoever has the accident is reflected in the pronoun. So se me rompió means it broke on me. Right? The computer broke down on me. That's the pattern. Right? If it was it broke down on you, it would be se te rompió. If it was it broke down on him or her, it would be se le rompió. If it broke down on us, se nos rompió. So you always have the se plus the third person verb form, and then the pronoun here is going to be whoever had the accident. So this is sort of a way of explaining or not taking responsibility for something, essentially. So down here, además se me olvidaron las llaves. So the keys forgot themselves on me. Rather than saying I forgot the keys, you say the keys forgot themselves on me. All right. A un amigo y a mí nos pasó algo similar. So something similar happened to me and a friend. Se nos cayó la conexión. The connection fell down on us. You have your say, your third person verb form, and then whoever had the problem is reflected here. And this is nos. So this pronoun here is always going to be either me, te, le, nos, or les. Indirect object pronoun. Right. Down here, they give you the pattern, and there's 3 parts. As we talked about, the say, the indirect object, which is either going to be me, te, le, nos, or les. Only 5 options there. Whoever had the problem, the accident, and then the verb. Okay, so that's your pattern. And it's explained here. So, se les apagaron las luces del carro. The headlights of the car went out. So las luces agrees with apagaron, and it's les because it's they. A él se le acabó el dinero. The money ran out on him. It's le because it's him. He ran out of money. Here it's les because their car had the problem. Se nos olvidó el código. The code, literally, the code forgot itself on us. Right? It's we, it happened to us, that's why we have a nos here. Se te rompió la chaqueta. Your jacket got torn. And it's te because it happened to you. Right? But all of these have the same pattern. The say, the indirect object pronoun, and then the third person verb form. And so you'll say, well, apagaron is a plural third person verb form, and the other 3 here, acabó, olvidó, and rompió, are singular third persons. And why is that? Well, it's because in this first example, las luces is plural, so you have the plural third person form to agree with it. And in the other 3, they're singular. Dinero, código, chaqueta are all singular, so you have the singular third person verb form. All right. Se me quedó el DVD en la computadora. I left the DVD in the computer. Literally, the DVD remained in the computer on me. That's the literal translation here. So for quedar, which just means to remain, it's a little bit of an odd construction for English speakers, but it's when you leave something behind. Se me quedaron los cables en la casa. I left the cables at home. Well, the cables remained and home on me. So it's a bit of an odd construction for an English speaker with the verb quedar. But the pattern is the same. The se, the indirect object pronoun, me, te, le, nos, or les, and then your third person verb form, which must agree with the noun that follows. Here it's plural because cables is plural. Here it's singular because DVD is singular. And again, all this is an unplanned occurrence, as you can see. Headlights going out, running out of money, forgetting the code, getting your jacket torn, leaving things behind. All of these are unplanned experiences. That's what this construction is used for. All right, then we have our normal exercises. And that's it for the grammar. The last thing is, of course, as always, the video for this chapter. And that would be all.